Hello and welcome to this really special interview with Rakesh Singh, MD and CEO of Aditya Birla Finance Limited. Now, all of you know that Aditya Birla Finance Limited is an NBFC, a non-banking financial company. And what they do, amongst many other things, is actually provide credit to small businesses. Now, why is this important? This is important because small businesses the world over are considered the backbone of any economy. And like in countries worldwide, MSMEs in India have their own particular challenges, especially access to credit. And that's where companies like ABFL come in. There's one more side to this interview, and that is the announcement of a very special partnership between ET, SME initiatives, and ABFL. And to talk to us about both of them, we're so happy to have with us Mr. Rakesh Singh. So thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
My first question to you is India's SME ecosystem. We have 4.7 crore MSMEs. Most of them are micro, 99%. They tend to remain micro throughout their life cycle. What does Aditya Birla Finance offer these small businesses? And what is the impact that you're creating with them?
MSME, as you really begin by saying that it's a backbone of any economy, so is it true for India as well. Almost 30% of India's GDP is contributed by the MSME segment. And if you look at the credit gap to this segment is quite big. So only some 15-16% of these MSMEs have access to formal credit. So there is almost 50% credit gap in this segment. You also mentioned that majority of them are micro in nature. So their needs are very micro. Their needs are small ticket loans. Also, I must give you a background. ABFL has been really focused on the MSME segment for the last 10-12 years. Close to 55 to 60% of our loan is to the MSME segment today as well. And we believe this is a growth driver not only for India's economy, but for ABFL as well. So it's a chosen segment which we want to really drive. So what we have done is, apart from providing them working cash flow, we providing them business expansion loans, merchant cash advance, and many other products which we customize for these MSMEs. We have also built an online digital platform to really cater to small business owners. Because as I mentioned, their needs are very small. So how do we digitally enable our platform to underwrite these customers, to really onboard these customers? So we see a big potential in terms of building the scale and size in this segment. As 55-60% of our loan book is to that, we want to further enhance it by really catering to the small business owners.
No, as you rightly pointed out, a huge credit gap. I think the RBI 2019 estimates suggested about 25 lakh crore might have grown. We don't know if, if it has even been bridged a little bit. So, of course, a lot of opportunities for companies like ABFL in the segment. I want to talk about Udyog Plus, the B2B platform that you have. Just within, I think, a couple of months of launch, it was reported that you had onboarded a vast number of customers. Tell us a little bit about Udyog Plus. Who does it service? And, what is the potential that you see with Udyog Plus?
Indian economy and Indian financial stack is changing. In the last 7-8 years, the digital infrastructure which has been built, and you would have seen on the consumer side and also now on the MSME side, people using digital payments, then the implementation of GST. All of this is really helping us to understand the cash flows of these small businesses much better than what we could do ever. So we thought, since it's a focus segment for us and also the opportunity in India's economy in terms of their growth, because if Indian economy is estimated to go from a 3.8, 3.9 trillion to 5 trillion in the next 4-5 years, I think this segment will play a very, very important role. And I believe and we believe that how do we really onboard these customers when they are small, their needs are small, and how do we cater to their needs, which is more simple in nature. So that's the reason we created a B2B platform. This B2B platform where we have built digital journeys. So these are digital loan journeys. Once the application is applied, the entire journey is online. Once the application is made, we have built scorecards and all, and we can underwrite in terms of once the information is provided by the customer, we can underwrite these customers and give them the loan. As these customers grow, we want the relationship to grow with ABFL. And that's the reason why we believe these micro SMEs, when they are coming into the formal ambit of the economy, they are being catered by players like us, and especially by ABFL. So that's really this B2B platform, Udyog Plus, as you mentioned. On this platform, apart from the loans, we also provide a lot of value-added product, so that these small business owners, their needs are also in terms of running the business on day-to-day basis. So if you look at their accounting systems, so we have tied up with multiple players who can provide them the solutions on the accounting side, payroll management, payment gateways. So all of this, we bring it on this platform so that they can access as a Udyog Plus customers and as a ABFL customer, they can access and avail these facilities online. So apart from providing financing solutions, also the value-added services which we provide on this platform clearly. Also what we do is we integrate this with a large platform. So we can integrate it so that the journey is quite seamless. To give an example, we are one of the few NBFCs which has integrated with ONDC, which is the digital e-commerce platform. And on that platform, if some SME is looking at financing solutions, Aditya Birla Finance can provide that. So I think it's a 360-degree platform which really caters to the needs of the small business owners on a day-to-day basis, so that they can focus on the business and they don't have to worry about running the businesses. So clearly, from financing to the entire range of value-added products which we provide.
Yeah, really beneficial to small businesses. Any interesting data points that have come out of it that could, perhaps lead to newer product lines for you?
Yeah, so it's very impressive. And last year only we launched this platform, and we have almost 1.5 million MSMEs registered on this platform. We are seeing that in this small ticket loan segment, almost 25 to 30% of our new customers are coming on this platform. So we are quite enthused and we are quite encouraged looking at the potential. And as the formalization of economy keeps happening, the small businesses will keep coming to the ambit of the formal credit, and where we can really look at how do we really cater to them, service them, underwrite them, provide them solutions. So that's what we are really looking at.
ABFL is one side of the spectrum, of course, very important cog in the entire, MSME ecosystem, making credit accessible to them in an easy manner. On the other side, we have something like the Economic Times, the SME initiative. And for Economic Times, of course, it is very important because we're in the knowledge dissemination part of it and, providing that sort of knowledge. Now, of course, ABFL, ET, SME is coming together. What really prompted the partnership for you, and what is your vision for it?
So we want to take the solution to the last mile in the country across the industry segments. And we were looking at a partner who can really come along and take it to the last mile, to the small business owners, to the small business units. How do we take it forward? So we were looking for a credible name. Economic Times or ET being such a credible name, you have a reach which can really go to the right last mile in this country, and also the platform on which you can really reach out. So that was the reason we were looking for a credible name, a reach, and also how do we really bring the credibility to the customer. When the customer looks at this partnership, really looks at us a credible and a trusted name. As you know, Aditya Birla Group and the brand is quite a trusted brand name in the country, and coming along with the ET has been quite what we were looking for. This will take us in terms of and establish us in this segment, the MSME segment, which we believe has a huge opportunity in the years to come.
So what can MSMEs expect from the ET, SME and ABFL partnership on ground?
So we want to really create awareness, and we are coming to multiple cities to really provide them an opportunity to come together, understand their business challenges, business opportunities, and how to scale the business. We will bring in experts so that they can talk about how to empower small business owners, and they can learn from that and really use it in their businesses. So clearly we want to take it to the small and all the SME clusters where we want to really reach out, make them understand what the big opportunity which Indian economy provides, and India's GDP, as it's expected to grow, provides over the next 3 to 5 years. So clearly, we are excited. We want small business owners to be excited, come together, understand the opportunity, network with the larger ecosystem so that they can learn from it and grow it to the next level.
Now, this is my last question to you. You've come from, banking into NBFC setup. And also when we look at the macroeconomic scenario that we find ourselves in currently, the way India is positioned especially, how do you see the future of financial services evolve and also MSMEs along with it?
So as you mentioned, I used to head SME business for India and South Asia for a multinational bank, and I moved in here 12, 13 years back to set up. And also, as I mentioned, this is a chosen segment. I come from an SME background. This is what our growth driver is. But as you know, and everyone knows, that India is one of the fastest growing global economy today. And if it is supposed to grow at 6.5-7% in the next 3 to 5 years, a lot of credit is needed, because the formalization of economy, which through the digital infrastructure, the GST, which is happening, I think that will need a lot of credit coming to this segment. And we are quite excited because the opportunity in India is huge. And we believe that players like us and multiple institutions have to play a very, very important role. To answer your question, I see banks and NBFCs, large NBFCs, playing a very, very important role in building this culture, the credit, and really taking credit to the last mile in terms of the small business owners who are really looking for a credit from a credible name. So that's what we are really looking at. We are quite excited looking at the opportunity in India and this segment, which is the MSME segment, because today it contributes to 30% of the GDP, but it's expected the MSME ministry is driving a penetration of 50% of the overall GDP. If that has to happen, this segment has to play a very, very important role.
We wish you all the best in being able to service the MSMEs, because they are, as you pointed out, the backbone of India's economy. Thank you so very much for speaking to us today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.